Had to know how.
Yeah, and like I said, by recording it
Yeah,
too, we
try
go
to
back.
put that on there.
Yes.
I'm like, nope.
Okay, hi everybody.
Hello.
They
You like to explain what to do.
I'm having
We need a stoplight down there and y'all won't put
Speak
one
up.
down there.
Or tell me to be quiet, because my ears are stuffed. Again, I'm Tammy Alexander, I'm the Campaign Finance Compliance and Training Supervisor. Had to change that, I just got promoted this weekend, so I'm running the whole Campaign Finance Department, which is all of me right now, so I'm hiring people. Anybody wanna come work at Campaign Finance, we're taking applications. In Richmond, I know where I'm at. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Are we all running in 2023?
Maybe.
All right, maybe's okay. We
Yeah,
running in
maybe.
2023,
But yeah, most of us should be.
okay? All right.
You have to wait till it was.
So this is very important because you're all coming into, does anybody here still have your statement of organization open from your last run? Have y'all closed your
Yes, I
bank
know I don't.
accounts? All right, have we opened any new bank accounts? All right, so let's go ahead and get started.
You can't
All
have the old one though, right?
Pardon me?
You can't have the old bank account, right?
Yes, but now you have to switch over to Comet, so you're gonna have to switch over now.
Okay.
Because that means you have an ongoing statement of organization.
Mhm.
So, yep, so now it's time for you to move into the world of Comet. It's exciting.
Okay.
Don't look so thrilled. All right, the first rule, and normally, yes, sir, you were gonna say?
No, I was just pointing to Jim.
Okay. The most important rule of campaign finance is to file on time. I will be your best friend. We'll all get along just beautifully. File late, you're gonna hate me, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Because there are penalties, and they are big. That is my job, to make sure you guys all comply with the law, and that's what I'm gonna do to you. So, let's get going. So, first rule, let's all remember that. I used to do this in a different order, realized everybody was asleep by the time I got to this. So remember, our first rule, file on time. Second rule, there are penalties, they are big, so don't call me acting surprised when Jason sends you a $1,000 penalty, because I will say you were all warned. Third one is, you must file a final report. So what's your name, sir, here with the open statement of organization?
Jim Jennings.
All right, Jim. So what would happen to you is, say you had not closed your account. So we let it keep rolling and rolling. We always assume you're running for the office again. So if you don't file a final report, we're assuming you're running the next time, and you're kicking back into that big filing schedule, whether you signed up for the deal or not. And those penalties crank up really, really quick. So when it's all over, make sure you close out your accounts. The bank, I'm not attached to the bank account, so I don't know if you've closed it. You could say, Tammy, I closed my bank account 6 months ago. I don't know that. I'm not attached to the bank account. So just make sure that when you're done, you close your reports in Comet. And I'll even show you all how to get into Comet. Has anybody here used Comet before? Oh, this is a fun bunch. Nobody. Ah, all fresh. All right, so who has to file? All of you now. It doesn't matter what office you're running for. It used to be I would go ahead and say, if you run for soil and water, you don't have to file. Now you do have to file. You can file exempt forms, but those have to be with Jason immediately. Jim, you can't, because you still have your statement of organization open. Old statement of organizations are not qualified for exemption. So you have to file within 10 days of these strict triggering moments. If you accepted any money, David, if you accept some money, if I give you $5 today, you have 10 days to file your statement of organization inside Comet.
Well, give me more.
Not give me more. That's why I'm gonna start hitting you with those penalties. And like I said, don't come whining to me then. All right, if you expend any funds, yes, ma'am.
Are you gonna, is this PowerPoint available right now?
Yeah, I can send it to Jason, he can give it to all of you.
Excellent.
Mhm. And that's another thing, please interrupt whenever you need to, because if you have a question, I guarantee someone else does too, okay? So if you've spent any funds, this one always amuses me because I'm not sure how you can spend funds before you've accepted any, but there we go. If you spent funds, if you pay a filing fee, do you guys run by political party here in Mecklenburg? All right, then you probably won't have to worry about the filing fee. If you file a statement of qualifications, say you wait all the way until June, and you wait until the last day to file, and you've done nothing else, that day you file your qualification form with Jason is the day you have 10 days from there. But remember too, you have 10 days then if next year, I think the primary is on the 20th, so that would throw 10 days on the 30th. So you say, oh, well, I'm just going to wait until June 30th. You still owe me a report that covers June 21st and June 20th and those dates. So just don't goof around with campaign finance and we can all remain friends and all be happy people. Excuse me. If you have coined,
Sorry, you got a question?
yes, ma'am.
Acceptance of a contribution. If you open your account with your own funds, is that considered a contribution?
Yes, ma'am, it is. Because that also triggers the next one, which is the appointment of a campaign treasurer, the designation of a campaign committee, or designation of a campaign depository. So that would be the day you designated your depository. You've got your 10 days going there. All right, who files with whom? I am told by, nerdy English knowing sources that you are supposed to have the M. I'm not an M user, but you can have the M if you want it on your whom up there. Who here knows your whom's and whom's? Who and whom's? I don't. Not even gonna pretend to. So, if anybody here running for a state office, everybody staying local in here? Nobody's running for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general anytime soon? You can sign up for that now. Tom, don't look so shocked. I can see the glint in your eye. You're like, lieutenant governor, that is so mean.
No, I ain't gonna happen.
All right, so anybody thinking about going for General Assembly? And we've determined we're not in the 4th district here. Because we're having a special election. You could just jump right on in there.
We're on the border behind.
Oh, you see, I'm smack dab in the middle of the 4th, so we're not having a good time right now. All right, so you're all local candidates. So this is everybody. A local candidate, that's your constitutional officers. That is your board of supervisors. Do you elect school board here in Mecklenburg?
Yes, ma'am.
School board. Do you have soil and water? And soil and water. This is a soil and water year. Do we have anybody here for soil and water this year? Okay, because that one's a new one.
We probably forgot to invite him.
Oops.
Well, but I'm gonna
You're gonna
record
have to do
this.
it
That's
all
right.
again.
We'll tell them about it later. They only need 25 signatures. They have a lesser burden, so a little late.
We
on
can help them
campaign.
out.
They're a little late on campaign finance. All right, who doesn't have to file? All right, if you're running for Congress, so those people who are, if we were in the 4th here, and you wouldn't have to file with me, you'd have to file with the FEC. The president and vice president does not file with me, so don't call me up and ask me what President Biden filed last week. I don't know what he's up to. I do, but that's not my job. That was just for sport to know that. All right, town office in a town of less than 25,000 people. If you're all running for
I think it's in the town.
Mecklenburg County, you're filing campaign finance. Now, does Boydton have town elections?
Several towns do, but I don't think any of them
That- yeah.
25,000.
Nobody, I didn't think, no one in Mecklenburg has adopted campaign finance guidelines, so you don't file. But say you go crazy, like you right here. Say you were running for, what town do you want to run in, whether you live in one or not?
South Hill.
All right, where?
South Hill.
South Hill. All right, so you're running in South Hill, and you go wild, and you just go ahead and you collect $30,000. You have to file campaign finance. I'm still waiting for Claremont with their 342 people to just lose their mind and collect $25,000. Hasn't happened yet, but I'm going down to watch that when that one happens. So we know we're not going to have to file any campaign finance for any of the little towns in Mecklenburg, unless, of course, like I said, you go insane for some reason. But everybody running for a county office has to file. All right, now, this is why Jason's invited me. I hear you've all filed paper forever. David, don't look so scared. It's actually very, very easy. I ran for office in 2009 for treasurer in Petersburg. That's back when we had a system called Virginia filing. That was a special bit of hell. That was awful. It involved discs. It took 10 hours of crying every time you filed a report. I was the 4th congressional treasurer for the Republican Party, and literally every filing deadline. 10 hours in my office, just booing my eyes out. Could not get the filing straight. Comet came out, best thing ever. It is so easy to use. And I'm not lying to you. I'm not just trying to sell it to you. I will show you how easy it is to use in a bit. But even when I ran in 2009, Virginia filing was what we used. So I filed paper. I loved paper. Paper was fantastic. But you had to alphabetize it, you had to chronological order, then you had to do all the adding. Comet does all that for you. You just enter in what you spent and what you received, and Comet sorts it all for you. It's a beautiful thing. And that's new in 2021, so apparently that is landing on your doorsteps in 2020. Campaign finance is very simple. It's the simple accounting of every penny that comes into and out of a campaign. Please don't call me up one night and say, Tammy, I can't get my campaign finance to balance, because you rounded off all your receipts. When I pull open an account and it all ends in zeros, I know you've done something hinky. I'm not happy. So always write down to the penny. If it's 21 cents, put $10.21. Don't go, oh, well, it was about $10. Exactly. I want to know every single penny you've spent. All contributions, cash, checks, credit card donations, in kind, anything you get, anything of value has to be entered into Comet. We have, if somebody, Claudia, someone gives you a printer because your printer just goes, pff, and you got to print up some sample ballots. They hand you a printer. You put it in Comet, put it in as an in-kind contribution. And you just say, well, it was a $50 printer because you saw the same thing down at Staples and it was on sale. Don't let those people lie to you. It was not a good printer. But you go ahead and put down what the value is in Comet. Okay? Loans also must be accounted for in the campaign. So that would be even your $10 that you put in for your bank account, ma'am. That would be, you want to make that a loan. A lot of people say, like the parties will tell you, I go on tour with the parties, and the parties will say, oh, well, you got to show the voters you have skin in the game, that you've donated money to your campaign, and that's fine. But if you want to take that money back when it's all over, you got $5,000, and you'd like to get your $2,000 back, you better have it in as a loan, because that's the only way you're going to be able to take it back, because you want to make sure it's there available for you. So if you give yourself money, try to make it a loan. That way you can take it back, and it's not going to be an issue for you later. And if anybody bellyaches at you, I'm the one who looks at it and you say, well, Tammy's the one who told me, so it's okay. All expenditures must be accounted for in a campaign. So if you go out and buy hamburgers for your election workers, put it in there. If anything you do using your money out of the campaign has to be accounted for. Now, say you go to, sir, what's your name? Matt. You go to, let's see, you go to Walmart. We're going to send you to Walmart. Where are you going?
No, that's fine, go ahead.
All right, you can go to Walmart. You go to Walmart and you're buying something for a picnic for your people. But you don't have your campaign money. You dip into your own pocket and pay for it. You have just made a loan to your committee. You want to always make sure you use your campaign money, but if you don't and you get stuck somewhere, use your personal money. That is a loan to your committee. Come home, put it into Comet immediately. Say, $50 went to Walmart. Put it in the note, paid cash out of my pocket. Make sure you put it in that there was that you loaned that $50 to your campaign. That way you can take it back and no one can question you.
So everything you put into this is a loan.
I would do it that way because a lot of times there's money at the end. One time in Petersburg, quite a few years back now, we had one person hand in their final report, $2,300. They just took all the money themselves and went to the Caribbean. They were surprised when they came back from the Caribbean, and I told them I cannot accept your final report with you taking your money, because they had never given a loan to themselves. They had never even made a donation to themselves.
No.
They just pocketed the money. That's the face you should be making, yes. Because I'm not sure when this was. It hasn't been since I've been around, and I've been around doing this since 2008. A candidate could just pocket that money and run. But you can't, not since at least since 2008. So do not pocket your money and run. Unless you want me coming behind you going, I'll put you in my little campaign finance jail. It's not all that scary, but I'll put you in it for a little bit. So, I'm going to make sure. Yes, sir.
Is that check and balance?
Pardon me?
Is that check and balance?
You mean how we,
Yes.
well, it depends on how you mean. I mean, when you put money into the account, it balances all out for you. And,
Yes.
and then now in January 1st, 2024, I'll be, what's your name, sir?
Charles.
Charles, I'll be able to call you up on January 2nd of 2024 and say, Charles, bring me all of your receipts, all of your bank statements, everything, because I'm going to match everything up.
Good. I'm a number cruncher.
Yeah, excellent. See, that you should apply for campaign finance. Come up to Richmond with me. I mean, I do. I love my job. People look at me and they say, no, you don't. No, I really do. I love my job.
So if you don't put any money in and don't spend any money, how does that work?
Well, you file no activity reports and just file a bunch of zeros. It can be done. And we do have a
If
community.
you start with $50 in the campaign account, how does that work?
Well, that would be your donation to yourself for $50. So you go through the whole campaign. You never put anything else. You never spend anything. It's just that same 50. At the end of the campaign, you just pay that loan back, which is just taking your $50
Close
back.
the bank account.
Hit the is final button and move along with your life. All right, you want to use checks to pay for everything. That way you have a paper record. Last year, we did start allowing debit cards. The problem with debit cards is you lose the receipts. And then you're crying with me on the phone 15 minutes before the deadline going, Tammy, I can't get it to balance. And I can't help you because I don't know what's still sitting in your wallet, what's in your pocket, what's on your desk. Try to use checks if you can. Now, I know you're going to buy stuff online, and then you will have to go ahead and use the debit card. But go home every night and enter your information. That's the best way to do it.
On that, if you were doing something and just say you ordered something online and you didn't have a debit card for your account, can you just say you ordered postcards?
Okay, let's order some
And you
postcards.
did $151 worth of postcards and you paid for them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just say, well, I'm going to loan my account
Yeah,
$151 and
Yeah, so you write in comment, expense, Vistaprint, $151 worth of cards.
right.
Then in loans, you're gonna write, loaned myself $151 on this day to cover that Vistaprint
Right.
order.
But even if you don't keep the receipts on a debit card, it's gonna show up on the digital statement.
Correct, but see, this is a problem I just had with these people who've just run in the most recent election. They were waiting for the statement to come out. Sometimes that statement comes out after the report is due.
Well, the debit card's gonna hit right then, boom, it'll be that the next day.
Jim, I hate to break it to you. There are a lot of not bright people running for office. They don't think that hard. A lot of them don't even know how to get into their bank statement online.
agree
So
with
if
that.
you can get in your bank statement online, stay on top of it every single day. But yeah, we talk about this at the office. That campaign finance is the closest thing we have to an IQ test in Virginia. If you're praying people, pray for this state because we're in trouble. But that's why I'm here to tell you guys so you guys can be the smart ones. We love Mecklenburg, the smartest county in Virginia. You'll have to come up. Well, I don't want to tout Petersburg too much, but I tell them they're not allowed to come to Richmond and embarrass me. That's where I'm from. So again, you want to make sure you keep all of your receipts. Campaign money never mixes with personal money. Don't pay your house payment with it. Don't pay your car payment with it.
It's probably been done if she's saying it.
Yeah, it's been, some of the things I have seen, I was like, no. Campaign money is not a money-making venture for the candidate. Like I said, don't come back telling me that you went to the Caribbean with your campaign money. I haven't had heard of anything in Virginia that happens in the Caribbean related to an election yet. But I'm sure someone will come up with something. So campaign money only pays for campaign expenses. Every penny is attached to a known source. There are no anonymous PayPal donations, no passing the hat. Do we have some churchgoers in here? Now, you know, again, 2009, I ran for office. As you see, I am a white girl. I was in a big black church. And God bless them, they wanted to do a love offering for me. I had to stand up and yell to everybody. So now I'm already sticking out like a sore thumb. Now I have to stand up and say, no, please don't, because passing the hat or passing the plate is illegal. You cannot do a love offering at the church because the church, well, first of all, you don't want the church to give your campaign money. That will risk their campaign or their tax-exempt status. And you can't account for every penny. So if Matt gives money and Jenny gives money and Jim gives money, I don't know how much they gave. That may put them over their $100 limit. So, no passing hat, no anonymous boxes. My husband was at an event in Dinwiddie. This was a few years back, and they had a donation box at a Republican event. And they were just dumping cash in the box. Well, my husband, knowing me, of course, ran up and put his hand over the top of that box and said, "You're going to stop this now." And they're like, no, we can do this. We've cleared it with the lawyers. And they're like, "But I'm going to have to go home and talk to my wife, and she is not going to like this at all." Because you don't know who put that $5 in there, who slipped that $1,000 in there. That's the whole point of campaign finance. We need to know where every penny came from. There are no mysterious GoFundMe monies. We've seen that show up. People will call me and say, "Well, Tammy, someone gave me $1,000 anonymously." I'm like, "No, they didn't. They gave me $1,000 anonymously," because that's where that $1,000 is going. There are no raffles. That goes against gambling laws in Virginia. I do not know those laws, so just don't do it. I can't help you with it. You'd have to call whoever's in charge of gaming. But don't do that. And another thing, in our summary of laws and policies, which I expect you all to read, it's a real page turner. I did not write it. I just edited it. It's terrible. I won't lie. We have 3 scenarios for you to avoid. Do not pass the plate, pass the hat, like I said. No raffles and no golf tournaments. Golf tournaments are an absolute nightmare when it comes to campaign finance. A lot of people say, "Oh, I can keep track of it, keep track of every penny." Not usually. It usually goes very bad, so I would avoid that. So now, you're walking down the street. And ma'am, what's your name?
Michelle?
Michelle, you're walking down the street. Somebody walks up to you and says, "Michelle, here's $20 for you." Just $20, but they don't want to be known. $20 is, okay, because they don't have to be itemized at this point, but you still need to know who that person is, because what if they find you again and go, "Michelle, I got $90 for you now." Now they're over the $100 limit. So you want to carry with you while you're a candidate. I would suggest carry envelopes around, kind of like tithing envelopes at church. And if I can do this, I know you guys can do it. Put it through the printer, put in slots for name, address, and their occupation and who they work for. That way, no matter where you are, if somebody slips you $5, you can get their information. So when they give you $96 later, you have it.
Question.
Yes, sir.
I'm hearing that the $100 is your limit.
It's not a limit. That is the threshold. See, different word. The threshold of when they have to be itemized on the campaign finance account. Have you ever run for office before? No. Okay. Well, these fine folks who have run for office and filled out their campaign finance reports, they would know you don't have to itemize on the big Schedule A's. Like, you wouldn't have to write down, if I gave you $99, on the paper report, you'd just say, "Hey, I got $99 from this one person." And then you would keep track of me. When I did, I kept track of it on an index card. But now in Comet, you have to write down, "Tammy Alexander gave me $99. And then you can just put in some filler stuff, because I'm not going to show up on your Schedule G back in the campaign finance report. That is the subtotal for that report. But now in Comet, you want to have Tammy Alexander, 110 Liberty Street, Petersburg, Virginia, works for the Department of Elections, Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, I do campaign finance, Richmond, Virginia, at the Department of Elections. You want to have all that information, because Comet's going to require that from you. Because then when I come and give you $2 later, I'm going to show up on the report. It's going to say Tammy Alexander gave you $2, but an aggregate of $101. So if you have people who don't want to know, like your opponent's wife does not want your opponent to win. So she slips you $99. That way no one ever has to know she gave you money. But, because we had that happen in Petersburg. We have fathers betting against sons, wives against husbands. The stuff I see in campaign finance is fantastic. But you can hide, it's not hide the money, but you can keep your donation to yourself that way. So, like, say you work for some place that would not approve of you giving money to me for a campaign, you would just give me $99 and you'll never show up on my campaign finance report. But if you give me $2 after that, then you're going to show up and your employer's going, "Oh, you support that, Tammy. We don't know about that." So that's one thing that people do. When you'll see a lot of If you were to get inside someone's campaign finance in the private section, you see there's a whole bunch of people who just give $99. So,
How about somebody that doesn't want to tell you where they work at?
well, as long as they don't give you more than $100, it's okay. You'll be fine. Just tell them they can't give you any more. And then you also wonder, where do they work, you know?
But yeah,
Like,
but
wait
some
a minute.
people,
Then you just have to say, I can't take your money. I had to tell a man who wanted to give me $10,000. And that's a lot of money. I mean, my managers got upset, but he had just gotten out of prison for embezzlement. I was running for treasurer. I'm not taking embezzled money.
probably a good move.
And then in Petersburg, definitely not, no. Yeah, that's right. I don't need to add anything on top of that. All right, so now, periodic reports are due. Do we have anybody that's running for commissioner of revenue? Not commissioner of revenue, clerk of court. Oh, Michelle. Now, are you clerk of court now, or are you running?
Yes,
Okay, so you know how long your election cycle is.
yes,
Oh.
better than others.
A lot.
Yeah, that's a long time to keep your nose clean. All right, so periodic reports are due. So if you're on the ballot, you guys are on the ballot in 2023, those are 8 reports that are going to be due. They come fast. They come on April 15th, one just before the election and the primary date in June. Doesn't matter if you're in the primary or not. You still have a report that's filed. That one comes real fast. The filing period ends 4 days later. The report is due. Not a lot of activity for that one, so it's really not that big of a deal. Your next report is due mid-July. The next report is mid-September, mid-October, the bitter end of October, which is another 4-day turnaround. Post-election report, which is due in December, and then your next report for that cycle will be January 16th of 2024. So, if you're on the ballot, know you have 8 reports due that year. After that, you have reports due in July and January of every single year. And they all go together, so if you miss one, $100 penalty. You miss two, $1,000 penalty. You miss three, $1,000 penalty.
What if you don't decide to run until July? I'm just saying, you know, you get your paperwork, I don't turn it in, what was it, due August 19th?
What office you run for? Because your
School
paperwork
board.
is due in June, unless it's a special election.
I was special.
Oh, so you're special. You're one of those people. Now, okay, yeah, the special election, slightly different filing scheme. But if it's a regular election, you have to have all your stuff in June, your next report's due in July. Because say you file your statement of qualification in July or June, when it's actually due, and you goof around, you file your statement of your statement of organization and comment on July 15th because you're going, the report's due today. You immediately start with a penalty. So, a lot of times, that's right. First thing you want to do, a lot of times in an election, or if you're running for office, get your campaign finance early. Because you can do campaign finance long before you do any ballot access paperwork. Your ballot access paperwork can't be started until the beginning of the year. So this year we're starting January 3rd because we have January 2nd off. So January 3rd, you can all file your ballot access paperwork. You can start your petitions. You can start your qualification forms, your declarations, and all that great stuff. But you can start campaign finance today. That's why I'm here for you now. So as I said, you got those 8 reports due on the year you're on the ballot. At the end of that year, your election cycle stops. It then kicks in for the next one. And poor Michelle is looking at an 8-year cycle after that. The rest of you, mostly 4, some of you 2, depending on how your offices are set up here. So, like I said, your first penalty is $100. That was set by the State Board of Elections because the first penalty can be up to $500. So they were decent and said, we're going to make it $100. The second penalty is $1,000. That one has no wiggle room. There are very few things in campaign finance law that are crystal clear, and this is one of them. Second penalty and every penalty thereafter in an election cycle is $1,000. So, as I just said, your election cycle lasts the entire length of the term of your office. So, say yes, ma'am, you with your hand up, you're running for, say, House of Delegates. You're on a 2-year cycle. That's a lot of reports. You want to keep up with those. Yes.
You mentioned earlier in the presentation about a final report.
Mm-hmm.
So, the year that you run, there are 8 reports.
Correct.
The final report, I'm assuming would be the 1/16/24 if you're not doing anything.
It could be. It could be the post-election report, which is in December.
It could be the postal, okay, so 12, whenever that one's due.
Yeah,
And
if-
then you still have a 1/16/24 report.
Not if you file
Not
a
if you
final.
do the final report.
Right. You can get out of that 8 and make it 7
Uh-huh,
by filing immediately after the election and making it done.
very good.
But yeah,
That was my,
yeah, there you go.
Clarification.
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
You're welcome. So a 4-year term has a 4-year election cycle. Michelle's got her 8, and anybody who wants to go up against Michelle, you want to jump into the 8-year cycle, hop right on in there. PACs and political parties. Do we have anybody here that represents a political party or a political action committee? All right, that's a 1-year cycle. Election cycle begins January 1st following the election. So back to your question, you don't close with the final on December, I don't know what this year was December 8th, so you didn't file this December 8th with the final. So you do have to file the January 17th, 2023. But say you filed this one as a final, you're done. But you didn't. That one in January is still part of that original election cycle because that finishes off the year of December 31st. So that,
If you ran this year.
if you ran this
Yeah.
year.
There's
So
no
you're not even worried
running
about
this
that.
year. No, no.
So you've done nothing yet.
No, ma'am.
Then so you got nothing to file.
And my plan is not to take any money or spend any money, so I don't
Ah.
know how relevant this all is.
Oh, well, it's still relevant because if you're on the ballot, you got a qualification. You got 10 days to file your statement of organization. Even if you file no activity reports through the whole thing.
So that would just be one report.
No activity report is for every single report that's due. You could file an exemption, and if you file the exemption, that means you're not gonna spend more than $1,000 of your own money, and you're not gonna accept money from anybody else. I hear it. Okay. Now that gets kind of dangerous because a lot of times people will say, "No, I filed the exempt form," and then right before the election, there's always someone who wants to give you money. That's going
Ms. Bailey and I are together. I'm not planning on spending, you said $1,000. I couldn't imagine spending 100. So
There you go.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
The least amount of work. I'm just saying, they may get to have balls or whatever, but
If you have to, if you can figure out how to do that, yes, that's fantastic. Problem is though, say I come and like, gee man, I really think you're great. Take this $5 and you take it just to shut me up. You've immediately rescinded your exemption, but you haven't filed it with Jason, so now you're out of compliance and now the penalties start. So a lot of times I just tell people it's easier to not go exempt, just file those reports.
let's just say nobody's ever offered me money for anything. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna come down and just give you money, Matt. Just say, here, take this money. All right, now, well, except for Matt, because Matt's not gonna take any money, he said. Large contribution report. So if you're all running for local office, if you accept anything $500 or above in the 11 days before the primary, whether you're in the primary or not in June, or the 11 days prior to the general election in November, you have to file a large contribution report within 24 hours if you get $500. So again, Matt, I know you don't want it. I'm giving you $500 3 days before the election. You got to immediately get into comment and file a large contribution report and say, oh my gosh, Tammy gave me $500. What am I going to do? Because if you don't, if it's your first penalty, it's a $100 penalty. But that $500 could cost you $1,000. So I like this. With 45 days now, early voting, these are actually becoming very few and far between because the election's pretty much over with the 11 days before the election. You pretty much have everything you've wanted. So again, it's $500 unless, you want to go crazy and go on to the House of Delegates. Our Senate, General Assembly's $1,000 limit. Statewide candidates are a $5,000 limit. So the LCRs must be filed within 24 hours or they're considered late. So it's actually 11:59 because I don't know if Matt, I gave you money at 3 o'clock. The other people in the office up in Richmond don't know I gave it to you at 3 o'clock. So they can give you until 11:59. If it's the day before the election, it's got to be filed the same day. They do this so we can't sneak any money in right before the end of the election. All right, so we determined no one's going for General Assembly here, right? Michelle, you're shaking your head like, oh, well, maybe. No, God. All right, well, if you were, there are these evil things called pre-legislative session reports. If you receive any contribution over $1,000, it has to be reported by January 15th every single year before the session starts. So don't worry yourself about this. You do have to worry about Stand By Your Ad, or SBYA. Does anybody know what that is? You're shaking your head. You know what it is. What is it?
You have to put your name on the ad, and the campaign committee's name on the ad.
Paid for and authorized by, and either your name, they've changed it, can either be your name or the committee's name. So no matter what you do, always be proud of what you put out there. David, if you put out an ad, put your name all over it, put paid for and authorized by David Brinkley. Don't put paid for by candidate. I'll drag you up to introduce you to my friends on the state board and they will give you a penalty. I don't want to have to invite you up to Richmond. I would love to see you in Richmond, but I don't have to drag you
How
up to
many of
Richmond.
those have y'all done? How many people have gotten caught in that trap? Which is a
I'm
trap.
getting ready. I'm processing 61 complaints right now.
Really?
It's all done by complaint. There are a lot more than 61, but we only run by complaint only.
So paid for by your name.
Yeah, so you'd be paid for by Jim. But Matt here's not spending any money, so he doesn't matter. All right.
And that's on everything. That's on
Abs-
signs, that's on printed material, that's on anything that comes out of the campaign.
Correct. The only thing it doesn't have to be on is if you got a little itty bitty pen, because there's no place to put it on there. A small magnet that goes on the refrigerator. Put the magnet on the side of a car. I got a lot of money from a lady with a magnet on the side of her car. She didn't have it on the big magnet on the side of her car. I've seen billboards without it. If you have a T-shirt, it has to be on a T-shirt. Dr. O'Bannon, he's on the state board, he asked, said if you've campaigned on socks, if your socks say vote for Michelle, Michelle better say paid for and authorized by Michelle somewhere on it.
Suppose you got a T-shirt, where you ran 10 years ago.
10 years ago, no.
That doesn't have to be on
Yeah,
that.
you gotta show me that you got it 10 years ago. But I'm thinking a T-shirt 10 years ago is gonna show it's 10 years old. Look.
Oh, a hat. Let's say a hat.
You hadn't worn it?
What side?
Oh, a hat, you said?
Yeah, a hat.
Hat's gotta be on a hat.
But if you had the hat that was old.
Is it an old hat? Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I asked for a lot of receipts. Old signs don't have to have it on it.
Old signs?
Old signs.
Signs that you bought in all the
From
elections.
before July 1st of 2015.
Okay.
So, but if say you print up the signs and you realize, oh my gosh, it's not on the sign, go to a Staples somewhere, get yourself some little stickers that say paid for and authorized by David Brinkley. Well, unless you're not David Brinkley, don't put his name on that. Go ahead and stick it to all your signs, because I'll look at it and go, well, he tried to fix it. These things happen. But yeah, don't just go out there willy-nilly, put your stuff out there. So this goes for telephone calls, text messages, TV ads. This year, we had TV ads for school board candidates. Oh my gosh, you want to talk about a mess that was. Bumper stickers. Business cards have to have it on it. Pencils and pens do not, because they're small, there's no place to put it. But everything else, if you can put something on it, I look at it this way. If Calvin Klein can put his name on the waistband of the underwear, so can you. So, paid for and authorized by. That's where I want to, I don't want to see it, but if I have to, you better be able to show me that. All right, so it's paid for by and authorized by, and I'm sorry I didn't mention that, but the Code of Virginia, the code reference is up in the corner of every one of the slides. So if you want to look this up and say, Tammy just made that up. No, she didn't. It's all in there. So I always advise saying paid for and authorized by the name of your committee. That way you're covered. Because it's actually, you can say paid for by, and it can be authorized by, and they're slightly different. But if you have paid for and authorized by, you are covered. Because when the complaint comes into me and I open it up, And again, I'm scrolling through the pictures in the complaint, and I said, David didn't put it in there, and I scroll by and I see paid for and authorized by, didn't bring them up. No good, throw it right out of that pile. State board will never see that complaint.
Well, you said a little while ago, told Jim didn't have to put it on an old sign. You know, like I got signs 10 years old.
Yeah.
Who proves that they were old or new?
Well, that's when we want to see your old campaign finance reports.
They're old,
Yeah, that you paid for them back then.
but put the stick on them.
So we
It's easy to put sticker on them.
Let's say somebody bought them 20 years ago.
It's easy to put sticker on them than it is to.
If you have continuously been in office for the last 20 years, yes, you're required to have all of your campaign finance reports and all of your receipts, and they should be in Jason's office too. I know Jason hadn't been there for 20 years, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't, as David said, maybe you better go buy some stickers to say paid for and authorized by.
So I assume somebody in the General Assembly came up with all these rules.
Oh my goodness. I was talking to one the other day and I told him how much I hated one of his rules. He goes, we love it. I'm like, you're not the one who has to take care of it. I am. So, but yeah, I spend a lot of time scratching my head wondering what they're thinking up there. And a lot of them, I can trace it right back to a very specific instance of why this is a law. So just always be proud of what you've done. Put your name on everything. Because remember, you want to get elected, so just put your name on everything. All right, do we have any questions?
Does Comet send you reminders?
Yes.
I was hoping so.
That's why I'm thinking, make sure. Oh, and you know, Tom,
little
that is
program.
absolutely brilliant because when you sign up for Comet, put in an address you look at every single day. As long as I don't make a mistake, as I did once. No one ever knows what email address you use in Comet because that's your private Comet password. It's not your password, but it's how you log into Comet. We have one that has a very embarrassing email account, but it's the email account that this person looks at every day. So every once in a while, I'll get an email back going, that's just a silly email account. But no one ever sees that, so don't worry about that. But on your SOO, on your statement of organization, you might want to have a nice respectable email because that is public information. But Comet is not public information. The only time I did accidentally send out 1,000 emails without BCCing them, so that I felt very bad about and I got fussed out. But I looked at it this way, now they had 999 friends that they could gripe about me with for an entire weekend from where I accidentally sent everybody's email out. So,
Ms. Bailey's
you got a question? Oh, where? Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I have not caught your name through all this.
Excuse me?
What's your name?
I'm not sure I'm gonna tell you. Is the comment registration in the candidate
How do you know how to get to it?
I'm going to show you how to get to it.
Well, I thought you were at the end because you were asking questions.
Yeah. I'm going to show you how to get to it. We can do that right now. Which I did not sign up on. I did not get onto the interwebs here, did I?
Yeah, we can do that then. You will plug in that cord.
There's no. It's one of these newfangled ones that doesn't have the cord plug in it. Yeah. Gotta watch out for this new technology. Let's see here. Yeah, when you said the thing about the packet, I personally am not thrilled with packets because everything's electronic now, so, except for well, I know you do have to. Excuse me while I hook up here. Oh, somebody wants to talk to me. It's VPAT. They don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to them. There we go. This is being recorded. You did not hear that VPAT. All right, let's see here. Let's see. All right, says I'm connected. All right. Well, all right, before I get off of this and take you through the joy that is Comet, let me go ahead and, this is how you're gonna get in contact with me. The best way to contact me is to send me an email because I get stuck in a lot of meetings and I can sneak an email out during a meeting. And if you can't get a hold of me, you can do it at CFDA, that stands for Campaign Finance Disclosure Act, at elections.virginia.gov, and the person I hope to hire by the end of the week can get back to you if I can't get back to you. So now let's go ahead and see if I can get you. Shh, don't look at my desktop.
Lord.
Michelle, calm down. I have not cleaned it. I've not cleaned it in the last 2 weeks. It's been
As an
very busy.
IT person, I am appalled.
It should be. The IT people about lose their
You know, they
mind.
make folders for that kind of thing.
We're getting ready to shift from our OneDrive system to a SharePoint, but we can't move yet, so it's all got to
Have
live
fun.
here for a while for now.
Isn't that
Stop looking at me. It's embarrassing.
We had one person like that, he doesn't work for us anymore.
Where's Waldo?
There you go. See, now you've said that, Jim. Now I'm all messed up. What am I doing? Oh, that's right. I'm going to the website. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm going to go to Virginia, or not Virginia, elections.virginia.gov. Always remember, when you email us or look for the Virginia Department of Elections, Virginia is always spelled out. I have a feeling the Veterans Administration stole the VA right from underneath us. So we have to use the whole thing of Virginia. So we're going to elections.virginia.gov. We go to candidate/PAC info. And as an IT guy, did that offend you when it just flashed like that? It offends me. Did you see it?
It went. You should
No.
be grateful. It
Yeah.
went, just like that.
No, there was a blip in there. See, look, he gets
That's
all
probably the
judgy.
browser you
He
use.
gets all judgy about the other stuff, but no.
It's the browser you're using.
Is that what it is? Okay. That's what we're supposed to say. All right, so now we've come to candidate/PAC info. First thing you guys are gonna want to do is go see it. Did you see that? Oh, it's very distressing for me. All right, becoming a candidate. I want you to read everything on these pages because it's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's going to tell you where to find the candidate bulletins. It's got your paperwork, everything you can bring it in. I guess you can fill it out online. I don't fill out these forms. This is, shh, don't tell the VA people. This is not my problem. Campaign finance. Yes, ma'am, Claudia.
I know you're going through this, but can you leave a sheet with the secretary so she can run off some if we need them?
Well, all you do is log into the website and it's all right there. It's, all right, let me take you back to the beginning again. Let's see. Did you see that, Matt? It flashed again.
It is, it's the browser.
All right.
It's showing you HTML for it.
We're waiting on broadband, we can't log in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Me too, Jim, me too.
Actually, I'm going to blame it on the fact that I'm hotspotting from my phone. So there we go. All right. So, Claudia, you're going to go to elections.virginia.gov. Everything you want to go is underneath this one right here, candidate/PAC info. And everything you could ever want to know about being a candidate is going to be right up underneath there. So I'm gonna let you, I see Dave still writing, so we're going to give him a chance to catch up. All right?
Good.
All right, that's going to take you to this page. These are all your links for everything you're going to need for campaign or for becoming a candidate. So you're going to click on becoming a candidate. All right, you've got your candidate bulletin. I want you to go ahead and download that. So again, Michelle, constitutional officer, you're going to go ahead and click on candidate bulletins for office sought. These, we don't have them up yet. Oh, we do we? Oh, you do have them up for next year. All right, so we have our general assemblies. We have local and constitutional offices, so that would be you, Michelle. We have, yeah, all right, yeah, oh, local and constitutional, sorry. And then Matt, if you wanted to be special again this year and run in August, we got you down here for special and constitutional. That gives you your special dates and political parties that say nobody's here doing so. So let's go to local and constitutional.
My teachers always told me I was special.
There you go. All right, so we have all of these available for you. It's got how to run for local office. And Claudia, you want to do this online because it lets you click on each of these items. See, look, there's comment right there, which stands for Committee Electronic Tracking. I did not name that. Takes you to this page here, which I'll show you in just a second since that's what I'm actually here to teach you about. But again, back to the candidate bulletin. It's going to tell you exactly when everything has to be filed, your different dates, what you need, your basic qualifications to be a candidate. Then we have your certificate of qualification form. This is what's gonna trigger you needing to file your statement of organization. So you fill this out, give it to Jason, you got 10 days to send something to me. And then I send one to Jason as well. All right, so you fill out your qualification form. Oh, we go back to this one. You got your statement of economic interest. I know it says economic in it, but it has nothing to do with campaign finance. Please don't call and ask me what to put on Schedule C. I don't know. All I can tell you is fill it out to the best of your ability, because that's how I fill it out. Incumbents, you don't have to fill it out because you fill it out every February or every January for February. But oh yeah, that thing is just miserable. I don't know what it is. It's a code of ethics form. So if you call me up and say, what does it mean when it says resident address and this? I can wing it, but it's not my form, so I'm not allowed to give you information on it because I don't know. And if you're not in the General Assembly, the ethics department's not going to help you either. So there you go. All right, your primary filing fee. All right, you guys are all running nonpartisan, so you don't have to worry about that. Declaration of candidacy. So that's available on here. Let's see, can we blow that up? All right, that just tells us what you're running for, how you want your name printed on the ballot. Do not print it all in capital letters, because we will not put it in capital letters for you.
This is basically what we've been doing in the past with some changes. This is basically what we've been doing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What, a few changes in it, probably.
But it has to be done online.
No, we have all the forms online, and you can fill them out on your computer and then print them out and then bring them to Jason, because they still need to be signed. And
Still got to
handed
print
Jason.
them out and just take them.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they're all available online for you. So if you don't feel like going down and visiting Jason, say you have seen his face enough.
You can't fill them out and email them to him. You got to sign it.
Well, see, they are, well, no, you can't email them. They have to be physically there. So yeah, because we have to have the wet signatures. But yeah, a lot of stuff, yeah, we do take it by email. Yes, ma'am.
If you're filling these out on the computer, is there a preferred browser?
Not Internet Explorer. That's the one I do know. Not Internet Explorer. Now, we've been using Chrome, which seems to work well. I personally prefer Firefox because my program is written in Firefox. All right. You're welcome. Yeah, don't try Internet Explorer with Comet. Comet will choke all over that. Let's see what else we've got. All right, so that's it for that. So it's actually a very easy form. One of the ladies in our office named Ellen, she made it so the candidate bulletin is just simple to use. All right, so we go back to there. Then you got your campaign finance documents. Now, again, you can start this today. So you could go out and you start giving each other money all over the place, except for Matt, who doesn't want your money. Matt does not want your money. So your campaign finance documents take you over to here. So if you want to look at what they look like on paper, and you guys have all filled them out on paper, so you know what they look like, you can look at them here, your individual sheets, but don't print them out and don't fill them out unless you want to take notes or something, because everything has to be done in Comet. There's all reporting schedules. The new reporting schedule comes out on January 18th of 2023. We don't put it out early because it confuses the 2022 candidates. So let's see, let's go back to here. So let's go ahead and go into Comet. Let me just go straight to campaign finance. And there it is, right there, Comet. But what I want you to do is write this down. cf.elections.virginia.gov. That's the fastest way to find it. So it's elections.virginia.gov, but put CF dot before it for campaign finance.
Collection.
Pardon me? cf.elections.virginia.gov. So that is Charlie Foxtrot dot elections with an S on the end, because we're always having them in Virginia. Dot Virginia, all spelled out. Dot gov. All right. So you've never been in Comet before. This is your first time. you're gonna click, let me see if I can get this big so you can actually see what we're doing. Alright, so you're in the comment, and you wanna click register here. So you're gonna put your email address in here. Alright, now your password, they just changed some. It used to be 8. So make it 9 characters. You have to have a capital letter, a lowercase letter, a number, and a crazy character. I always use a $sign because it's campaign finance. So let me see. What am I? Let's see. And then you tell me you're not a robot. Sometimes I believe you're not a robot. Sometimes, a lot of times they'll give you the, I'm not sure why they're not giving me the picture. Maybe it's because they know it's me. All right. You get this lovely thing. Now you think that's terrifying? My desktop, wait till you see my email, Matt. You ready? Hold on to your seat, because here we go.
I got my hands in my pocket.
Remember, I've been at work all day, I've been not at work all day, so the emails are looking rough. I gotta figure out where I left my email. Shoot. All right, let's go. Let's see if I got my notice. There we go. All right, this is another place where people will trip up. They will call me and say, I never gotten the notification. And I'll say, did you click on the email? What email? We send you an email. So you've got to go in and you got to click on your link for your campaign finance. So you click on it, brings you right back here. And now you can log in. Yeah, I put plus 65 on this one, didn't I? Was it 65 or 56? All right.
65.
Yeah,
Plus
okay.
65.
See, I'll do that and forget what number I used. All right. All right, so now we have to fill this lovely thing out. So this is your salutation. This is, I once said to somebody, I said, you could put king or queen in here. Someone put queen. Don't do that. It just looks silly when I pull my report and go, I don't know how that happened. So let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and put mine in. Oh, that's not where. Let's put the hometown I grew up in. All right, we always ask for alternate email address because say I get fired from the Department of Elections. I can't get in my campaign finance anymore because I don't have access to this email. I can't change the password. So what you want to do is you put another email in here. So that way when you call me up and say, Tammy, I swear I don't have my email anymore, I can see that you've already added one in here. So I can let you back into your account. Because I'm not going to let just anybody in your account. Think of it like your bank account. Would you want someone else just calling up and saying, hey, let me in your bank account? Same thing with campaign finance. No, nobody's getting in your bank account. All right. All right, so now I have a user account. So now you're going to come to this page here, and it has all the 7 different types of committees we have. But the only one that matters to you is the candidate campaign committee, because you're a candidate. So you're going to click candidate, and we're going to run for a local office. And let's see, Mecklenburg. What district should I run in? Running 3. All right, we're going to run in 3. So I'm going to run for Board of Supervisors. And so now we know exactly what we're running for. We know where we're doing it. And now we have to come up with a committee name. So Tammy, District 3. It's gotta be some way it identifies you, so your voters and the people in the community can find your campaign finance. So, we had one that put in something like, gosh, what was it? Virginia First. No, unless your name is Virginia, no.
So this year, coming year, everything gets redistricted, renumbered, and redone. So you're in district, whatever now, next,
Well, you should be
January.
redistricted now.
alright,
Yeah,
so,
you're in your
So-
right district. Or you should be.
no,
Let's,
ours comes up for next time.
you haven't completed your redistricting.
I mean, we know what it's gonna be, but we're still in X district, the old district now until the next election.
No,
When
No,
we-
no, no, no.
so-
No, you have been redistricted, but you're finishing out the old terms. Okay, so don't panic me like that. I'm like, please tell me you've redistricted. Oh, no.
So we would put the one in that we were going
That
to,
you're
even though we're
going
a different
for.
number now.
Yeah, you're going into the one you're going for. Campaign finance is always about the office you are seeking, not the office that you're leaving. So again, Jim, what district are you in, Jim?
So,
All right, Jim's in 7th. But next election, he's got to go for 5, we're going to say. Just for this. Don't look so shocked, Jim. So you're going to go for 5 in the next one. So he's going to close out 7 because he can't go for 7 anymore. He doesn't live in 7 anymore. So he's going for 5. So he's going to switch out, even though he's finishing out 7 now. Because it's all about the office you're seeking. You can go back to 7.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So green's my favorite color, so we're just gonna pick that one. So you fill this out. So this is your committee information. This can be your that can be a PO box. That's not a big deal. Oh, let's see.
I got a question for Alex. Do the districts change in January 23 or January 24?
The districts change, it depends on what, like you're saying, it depends on what your perspective is.
Yes.
You will remain as the District 7 supervisor through the end of the term, which is the end of December of 2023. If you win re-election, then you will become the District 7 supervisor for the term that begins January.
So the new districts, the new
The
physical
are-
districts,
They're in effect now, but the term to represent them does not begin until
till
January.
January 24.
Yeah, we can't cut your term short. We can't just say, Jim, sorry, you're out. All right, so you're gonna keep filling this out. Again, now this is the part where you're gonna wanna put a respectable email address. Because this is one people are gonna see. You don't wanna put Snow Bunny Hotness here, because that's gonna be embarrassing for you. This is the one that goes out everywhere. This is the one that VPAT picks up. All right, this is also business phone. If you don't want to put your personal phone on here, get yourself a business phone for this. All right, the website, you always have to put HTTPS to make that one work. I'm not going to keep doing this now because if I keep going, VPAT, we send a copy to VPAT, and then it gets very confusing for everybody. Your candidate information. This is where you need your voter registration number. So who here knows their voter registration number off the top of their head? Now, somebody in one class actually shot off their mouth and guessed. I was very impressed. I was like, oh, kneeling, no, he's full of it. He didn't know his voter registration number. So what you do, you click this, and we conveniently take you someplace where you can look up your voter registration number. So we're not going to leave you hanging over there at your statement of organization. So you're going to put in your number. Please do not put your social security number in there because, like I said, this is a public document. I will catch it now, but before I had my new program that runs it in the background, we have a few statements of organization out there with social security numbers on them. So you don't want that, all right? You want to put your legal name in here. You want your name that matches your voter registration. David, if you put it in, it turns out your name is Rip Van Winkle, I'm going to hit nope and reject you. I don't want to reject you, Dave. You seem like a nice guy. That would be rude. So you put your legal name in here.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Like when if I put your voter registration, like it has my maiden name, so I put my maiden name too? Okay.
Yep. Put it. Now the thing about campaign finance though, when you do your ballot name, it's going to need exactly what your voter registration is. On this, if I just put Tammy Alexander, I'm not going to reject it. I'm not that big of a pain in the tuchus. But, you know, if you put something completely bizarre on here, like if I put, you know, my maiden name on here instead of my married name. So that's not my name. All right, so if I put Tammy Lee Leatherland and I pull this up and I'm going, well, who in the world is she? Because I'm not registered to vote under my maiden name. I'm registered to vote under Alexander, so I would reject that. All right, another reason I'll reject you is I know, goodness, I can't write today. Your resident address. I get this question a lot. What does that mean? This is where you live. I know, Charles, you're looking at me. You got to be kidding me. I kid you not, Charles. People will call me up and say, what does resident address mean? I'm like, where do you live? People say, oh, well, I got a P.O. box. No, you don't. I have seen P.O. boxes. They are not that big. So you do not live in a P.O. box. This is where your physical house is. You might not get mail there, but I want to know where your body
Physical
goes to bed
address.
at night.
Physical.
So
In other words, where you get Amazon package.
there you go. Yeah, I never thought about that. Ooh, that's good. I'm going to use that one from now on.
Hey,
Thank
your
you,
wife
Jim.
gets them at a totally different location than you do.
Oh.
She gets them on the front porch in the back of the gate.
All right.
Y'all don't get it.
Again, your candidate information. This is the email that is going to be public. So again, if Snow Bunny Hotness is the one you look at every day, this might be the one where you write Tammy for treasurer at gmail.com. Your treasurer. You can be your own treasurer. If you are no good with money, do not be your own treasurer. But you can be your own treasurer because who do you trust more than you?
Mess it
All right.
up, it's your own fault.
This past year, Jim, you're like, I don't know.
No, I'm getting ready to say something. You're gonna run for office and deal with the county taxpayers' money, but you can't do
Thank you, Jim. Yes, that's what I say. I'm like, how in the world are you going to handle taxpayer money and you can't handle a couple $1,000s in a campaign finance report? Oh my goodness, you hit my pet peeve, Jim. So, I just got off the phone last week with a woman who was not speaking to her treasurer. Yeah, Tom,
Yeah, taxes.
big trouble, because that's where you get into a lot of penalties, because, oh, well, I'm not speaking to my treasurer. I'm thinking, well, you better start speaking to your treasurer.
You don't want to go pay the penalty.
Yeah, exactly. Because you need to be in contact with your treasurer every single day, especially in those 11 days before the primary and the 11 days before the general election. Because what if Dave walked up to you and handed you $1,000? You don't tell your treasurer in 24 hours and they get it up, that just cost you $1,000. You lost the whole money, a whole wad of money. So, So you do get a treasurer, get someone you trust, who is good with money, and who will not get, well, one just took off and went on vacation on her candidate. And the candidate doesn't have access to the common account. So if you do name a treasurer, both of you get attached to the common account, okay? All right, you're gonna make sure you check that they're registered. Primary financial institution. Now, Matt, I know you're not gonna give money.
I'm trying to say, if you're not gonna take contributions, you're not gonna spend, you still have to fill out all these.
All right, so then you'll probably fill out an exempt form. You fill out an exempt form, you still have to open a bank account.
That's a pain.
I know, but I did make these laws. You talk to those General Assembly people and sort it out with them. But you have to open a bank account, put the $50 in there, something like that. You have to tell me where the bank is. It can't be the mattress in your bedroom. I've had people put that. I've had people put all kinds of stuff, like all self-funded. Nope. You gotta have a bank account. I gotta have a bank. It's gotta be a brick and mortar bank. I also had one the other day. Someone put, I'm using Cash App. No, you're not. You're using a bank. All right. Secondary financial institution. I'm thinking you're not using this, Matt. So probably, you don't even want to use the first one. All right. And then when your very first statement of organization, because you can make an amendment. And that's another good thing. If you make a mistake in campaign finance, I'm very forgiving. As long as you're not late, I'll forgive you for anything. Just don't be late. So your committee activity, I just need one date in one of those boxes. They don't all have to be filled, just one. Whatever you did first is what I want to know. All right? Then for filing reports, you can use Comet, which is just adding one item at a time by yourself, or you can use an approved vendor. Basically, the way you guys are all standing, talking, nobody's using an approved vendor. They cost you a lot of money, stay away from them. All right, then when you get down to the bottom, you're gonna click Submit Statement of Organization. I'm gonna see if you're a real IT guy. Watch the screen, you ready? Were you offended by that flash of red? See, I'm shocked. Everybody said they were all offended by that. I don't know.
Well, it got you to look and see what you didn't do right.
No, it flashes to make you read that. And guess what? Nobody reads that. Nobody reads that. And then you hit submit and it comes to me at the Department of Elections. Well, this is what it looks like when you get an inside comment. Like I said, we're not gonna finish that because that's just bad. I gotta get my real one. Whoops, I'm not typing anything. Look at that. Nope. I have too many passwords. I don't know which one I'm using. All right, so once you get your statement of organization submitted and I've accepted it, you're gonna come up on, you think my desktop looks bad? Wait until you see this. Look at all, oh. These are all the statements of organization I have in here. You're only gonna have one, thank goodness. So, but that's what we were testing, so I have a lot in here. Let's see here. So let's pull one up so you can see what it looks like. All right, so we're gonna go to, I always start in reporting so you can see the filing schedule.
Email.
All right, this filing schedule, what we do, we just give you the schedule for the one particular year. This statement was created on November 30th, so it only has the tail end of 2022. So it's just the report that's due on January 17th.
Middleburg.
What's gonna happen is you've spent money, you come in here, you click expenditures, add new expenditures. And you do the date you made your expenditure, so let's spend money today. Let's spend $150 today. And you are usually the authorizing name or your treasurer or your campaign manager. All right. And you come down, who paid for it? The expenditure. Oh no, who did we pay? Payee, sorry. So we're gonna go over to Walmart. You got individual, so that's it. Matt, if I was giving you money, I would leave it on individual. But I'm going over to corporate because I bought this at Walmart. There we go. And so that would be it. And we wait. There's a lot of waiting. So that puts it on your list of expenditures. So every time you make an expenditure, you click the Add New Expenditure button, click Save. Simple as that. You get a receipt. So now, I went out and I bought those hot dog buns because I didn't have any money in the account. So I'm going to go ahead and just donate money straight to my campaign. So
Is that a loan or a donation?
you know what? No, Jim, you're giving me money. Congratulations. So, add receipt. So, you gave me the money to cover those hot dog buns. We did it today. So, Jim from District 7. Up. All right, so now I need to know, what does Jim do? What do you do for a living, Jim?
Farmer.
You're a farmer. Excellent. All right, name of employer.
Self.
All right, you can be self-employed. Primary city and state.
Chase City, Virginia.
Jimsburg, Virginia. There we go. So, so no one has to know all this stuff.
Nice up there.
Okay, in Jimsburg. And there's your first expenditure. All right, or your first receipt. And let's give I'm gonna give myself a loan now. All right, so I give myself a loan. And give myself a loan from Friday. Tell I do not type well. Not even gonna pretend. Oh, all your money has to come from Americans or green card holders. So, you know, no money from Prince Harry or, you know, this. He doesn't live here. He might live here, but he ain't from here, so you can't take his money. All right, you have a co-borrower. I can pretty much fund this loan of $32.26 myself. So we do save. So now let's say that's all the activity I've had for this entire report. The report is due on January 17th, so we're going to prepare report. And the first thing you have to do is file your baseline finances. Everybody's a brand new candidate except for Jim and I think Jim disappeared behind Jimmy here. All right, so whatever money you have in here is going to go in your baseline finances. You'll take whatever's on your last report and put it into these numbers. But everybody else who's brand new, who's closed up everything and starting out fresh, you're going to leave these zeros. So we're going to leave this 0.
So that has to be filed by January?
Yeah, oh yeah, yours is going to be due in January.
Well, suppose somebody decides, well, I don't know whether I'm gonna run yet or not. I'm being hypothetical. And they decide in March that they wanna run.
Well, because it's time for you to switch over. Yeah, we're gonna get you one way or another, Jim.
Apparently.
Yeah, we'll hunt you down. Now I know where to find you in District 7. All right, so we've got our baseline finances. Baseline finances are only on your very first report. So we're gonna go ahead and click is final report, because we're gonna get excited here. It's not gonna work because it's not gonna balance. But we do prepare report for review.
You gonna do that one?
Gonna watch the candy cane of sadness and despair spin. I call it that because it is gray. A gray candy cane probably tastes like dust. That would make me sad. So that is why it's this candy cane of sadness and despair. And we're gonna sit and watch it for a while. This is where if you're on the phone with me, we will chat, we will get to know each other while we're waiting.
$200, you get to go through the same dollar process. That makes no sense.
And Tammy, I will ask you, if the way you were doing like the loans to the account, are you better off, just say you're gonna do $950 to yourself? Are you better off to do one lump to begin with, or just as you buy stuff, just make it a loan to the account
If you're
for
gonna
the
go,
expenditures?
say if you're gonna go exempt,
Yeah, we're not gonna take anything from anybody.
I would go down to the bank, dump $1,000 in an account at the beginning and just leave it sitting there. That way, when you do buy stuff, take the money out as you go. That way you won't accidentally go over, because you'll go, oof, I'm out of money. Because if you're running low on money, then you have to file the rescind form, and then it's a whole thing, so. All right, so then you're gonna get to this page. After the candy cane of sadness and despair spins, you're gonna get to this thing that says not submitted. A lot of times people think they have filed the report, but it literally says not submitted. You have not submitted. So don't call me up again and say, Tammy, I submitted it, and then I open up your account and read these big red letters, because no. So you go over here and you click review and submit. Begin to wait. All right. So this gives us all your schedules. So all of you who have filed paper reports will recognize this. This is your Schedule A. This is anyone who's given you over $100. There's Jim from District 7. Thank you, Jim. All right. And then B would be in kind. So say Becky baked me the hot dog buns, but she's a terrible baker. But she gave them to me, so I'd put her on in-kind contributions with an amount that wouldn't hurt her feelings, but you know, we couldn't use them, so that's why we had to go to Walmart and buy those buns. All right, C would be interest rebates and refunds. And D, this is money we spent. Let's see, so we have spent money on this one. So there we go, there's the hot dog buns we bought. Here's the loan we received. All right. And now we have the loans that we need to, that still hang out on this report. And G is our subtotal for this particular report. Right, say we took in 150, we spent 150, we got a loan for 3226. This is the total for this report, or up to this date in the campaign. So we're still sitting here with $32.26. You will only see I when you click that final report button. This is your surplus, so at $32, I would have to give it to somebody, and it would show up on I, but it's not gonna show up on I because I didn't give it to anybody. So we're gonna go back to report. And this is where you hit I declare that I'm not telling a lie, but you'll see I can't because I gotta have a zero balance before I can file this report. So that's not gonna work there. So I go back and I just wanna file it as a regular report now. So I go back and hit view or amend report. This again, you've made a mistake. I let you amend all day long. Just don't be late. All right, so I don't click is final because it's not a final report. There's still $32 in the account. So we click prepare report for review. And again, we wait. So I want you to remember, if you're running for office and your name is on the ballot, do not click is final until after the election. Because again, this last time around, someone clicked is final on September 11th. September 11th, I'm sitting here thinking he's not running anymore. I don't send him any reminders. So now he's got a penalty for October 17th, October 31st, and December 8th now. That's $2,100 in penalties because he clicked is final and quit filing. So if you find you're getting close to the election and you haven't had an email from Comet saying, hey, you need to file a report, get into Comet. You may have accidentally clicked is final. To get it off of final, you just file the report again. Do not click is final till after the election. And again, you can always email me. I'm more than happy to help. All right. So now we took the is final flag off, but this report is due after January 1st. So again, we're not going to let you file it early. So we're doing everything we can to protect you from yourself, but you can still mess yourself up. But try not to mess yourself up because we've done everything we could to protect you. All right?
So I thought you could file in December the 7th, the final after the election,
Right.
which would be 7 filings for the year.
Yeah, now see what I could do. So let's go ahead, we could make that happen, but we're not going to because again, this report will go somewhere we don't want it to go because I'm in live production right now. So say I had the money to pay this back, I would click on this little stack of money and we wait again. So I'd say date of expenditure, today's the date I'm paying it back. Oh, that's tomorrow. Today's the date I'm paying it back. So it's 32/26. Whoop, drop my. Oh, no dollar signs in here. Comet will spit that out too. I don't know why. No commas, no dollar signs. All right. So then you click save. Now I'll be able to file a final report. So you'll see this, but remember, do not let me hit submit. I did that once in front of 75 people. You can still find that report online, but I'm not going to tell you where to look. It's very embarrassing. I wrote a lot of junk. You think Jim from District 7 in Jimsburg looks silly. You don't even want to know what I wrote on that one. But if you're ever very bored, click all the way through CF Reports. You'll find it. It's terrible. All right, so let's go ahead and click View or Amend Report again. And so now we want to do is final. See, and Matt, there's your no activity where you can click no activity. Nothing happens. And this is another reason, do not wait until the last day of the filing period, because if it gets slow like this, and you decide that you're gonna be one of those people who's gonna file at 11:55 at night, you're also gonna be one of those people sitting with a penalty the day after. So always make sure, file early. Like January, the January report, you can file that 1 minute after midnight on January 1st. All right, so let's review and submit this one. So Jim, if you look now, the excitement here, scroll on the bottom, it's gonna let me file this as a final report because it's down to 0. It's done. But we're not gonna click it because that'll get me in trouble. So you go to Schedule G and you're gonna see my loans are down to 0. And down here on the bottom of Schedule H, come on, switch over. There. And my account's down to 0. It's done. I have no other reports due for this campaign. But what I would have to do is come back here and click I declare and hit submit report, which we are not gonna do. Because VPAP will embarrass me all over the state with this. So that's all I have. Do we have any more, do we have any questions? All right.
So even if I'm not spending any money, I still have to go to the bank.
What, yeah. You might as well spend some money, Matt. You might as well just go for it.
You can use your old signs.
You can use your old signs. See, Matt, you could use Jim's old signs.
Put something in there, just have a bank account, so they don't.
Can I tag my name on the bottom
You
of
don't
his?
have to put $100 in
Sure,
a bank
yeah.
account, just to keep
Pay for
having
an
to pay the
authorized,
fees.
but then it would have to say and
You know,
authorized
so
by.
it's like, even if he wanted to do that.
So let me go ahead and get rid of this before I cause myself some drama here.
Now I will ask you, Matt was talking about, he has to open a bank account.
Yeah.
Well, normally most banks, unless you want to pay fees, you got to put $100 in it to avoid the fees. How is he going to report the $100 he has to put in it?
I hate to sound cold, Tom, but that's not my problem.
Right.
So let's say I don't even have to worry about it. Let's say I got enough money to put in, so it's free checking. And when do I get my money back? When do I pull my $1,005 for it back?
You file your final report and just say I'm giving all the $1,000 right back to me because it's my money.
You can't get it.
But you have to
Give
go
it
through
to
the
a
whole loan
charity.
process and all that.
Unfortunately, yes.
So there's really no, I'm not doing anything because you guys are.
Yeah, you're still doing something. Yeah.
No wonder people don't run for it.
But you still, even after he files that report, he still can he close that bank account?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
once you close the account, yeah.
Just got to close one, open one, close one.
Pretty much, yeah.
Does he
There's a
take
lot
it-
of people doing that. They'll put,
Does he take it out for himself or does he give it to a charity?
If he put it in, he can take it out.
yeah. If you're an exempt candidate and it's just your money, oh yeah, that's all your money. You take that right back. But if I give you money, Jenny gives you money, Tom gives you money,
Ain't gonna
wait,
take it.
Tom's like, I'm not giving Clark
I
any
ain't
money.
gonna take it. Too much
Wait,
paperwork.
we all give you money, and the campaign comes to the end, and Claudia goes, well, shoot, I'm just gonna pay myself back. That's gonna look very bad on you. You're gonna get massacred. I don't know what it's like in the press here, but if you were in Petersburg, you'd get yourself massacred in the press. And you'd have to you would have to kind of like what was left is divided up between me, Jenny, Tom, and you. But unless I would go ahead and put it in a loan if you want to be able to take your full amount back. Because remember, this is not a money-making prospect for anybody.
When is the first date again?
Well, it depends. When have you done your thing? What are you doing?
I've done nothing because I'm
Then
new.
you got-
I'm new.
He's scared to.
You got nothing missed.
Yeah. So it's just,
So he's gonna run for school board in November.
You're gonna run for school board in November.
yeah, I was pointing in.
You're doing absolutely nothing until that day you absolutely have to do something. You have to file your qualification form with Jason. That's the first thing you're gonna do? All right? So, you have 10 days from that day to get your statement of organization, which would make your first report due July 17th next year. That's when it's due.
When's the deadline for qualifying?
It's primary day, so the third Tuesday in June,
June something.
which I believe is the 20th this year, coming up. I don't know, I have to look at it.
Do you have a slide that has hot dates on it? You know, these-
That's what's in the candidate bulletin. That's why I say you want to read the candidate bulletin.
Didn't you say that this reporting schedule was coming out January 18th?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the filing schedule up on the 18th. I'll show you this year's
And then
schedule.
you're penalized if you missed it, so, or something.
Well, see, this is the good thing. In comment, we go ahead, let me get you a better one here.
So that's why maybe you're talking about penalties early, but you don't have to do it until June, maybe. I'm trying to understand what the
Okay.
timeline should be.
All right. Well, see, again,
It's like Jim's saying, what if somebody doesn't decide until May? Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna run.
all right, so May, that's when, all right, so May, what are you doing in May? It's May 15th. What have you done? What are you doing on May? You've just decided you're gonna run. That's it?
You gotta go to Jason, you gotta fill out your
All right,
sheet
so,
to.
all right, so you've gone to Jason and you filled out your qualification form. Now you got 10 days to file your statement of organization. But, say you've just gone down and seen Jason and you picked up the paperwork. You haven't filled in your qualification form. Nothing. You still got nothing. And you can run up and down the street with your hair on fire, do whatever you want, and say, I'm running for school board. Doesn't matter. I don't care. But the second Charles hands you $5 as you run by with your flaming hair, now I care.
Give it back.
I'm not taking his hard-earned retirement money. You find me a pole to get that money. And it was an electric pole, not a, pole.
Glad he specified.
I'm gonna go back to the office where I was like, I had a pole dancer in class last night. His name was Charles. Let me see if I can find one with a real schedule in here for you. All right. I'm not gonna take you around. This is an actual candidate, so. But I'm gonna show you what their schedule looks like.
But if you do it early, then you have to start doing all that reporting.
That's right. So if you don't wanna do anything, just lay low until third Tuesday in June. All right, so let's see.
But you still gotta get your signatures in time to.
Yeah. Yeah, school
Be able
board,
to
you
do-
absolutely have to have signatures. But signatures are not a trigger for campaign finance.
Right.
It's that qualification form. All right, so this is what you'll see. This person was on the ballot this year in Hopewell.
But that's
So this
last
is her
year.
filing
That's last
schedule.
year.
So you see, she was filing back in 2021. So she had her July report, her January report, and then boom, we kick into the 8 right there after that. And so this will be what you see when you click on reporting in your campaign finance report. So again, Matt or Michelle, you sign up today. You're on the ballot next year. You're on the ballot next year. So you're only going to see the one report that's due January 17th. In February, we go ahead and do annual regeneration. Then we're going to send you an email that says, surprise, here are the 8 reports you owe me this year. So you're thinking, oh, this is good, one report, and then we're just, February, here you go, have 8. And then next year, you leave it open, surprise, just 2. We'd like to keep you jumping in campaign finance. And if the laws change, we'll have that updated as well. So that's what that looks like there.
So once you close it out, you don't have to do any other reports?
Nope, you're done. Now, I've been at the department now 4.5 years, and now that I'm now officially a supervisor, I'm buying me and my 2 people who are going to be working for me bells. Every time a final report is filed, we're gonna ding those bells. It's gonna be a wonderful thing. We love a good final report. So, do you have any other questions?
I'm sure there'd be a pile of them, but just trying to
It's
think.
really not hard. After you do the first report, you're gonna sit there and go, oh, that was a lot easier than I thought. It's so much better than those paper reports, so much better. I remember doing the paper reports in Petersburg and having to send it back and go, you didn't put it in alphabetical order, or you put the wrong filing dates on it. You're constantly sending it
Do we have
back.
to file that many paper reports?
Pardon me?
I can't remember, do we have to file that in the past? How many,
Yeah.
how many
Yeah.
paper reports do we file? I don't know.
There should have been 8. But again, I was hired to do compliance, and I found out there was very little compliance. People weren't filing the 8 that they were supposed to file. It was bad. So,
And if you exempt, there's still 8.
if you're exempt, there's 1.
That's what I'm looking for.
All right,
You're not
exempt?
taking it from anybody else. You're not taking money from anybody else, and you're gonna stay under the $1,000.
It's staying under $1,000, and after the election is over, you're going to file that one post-election report and tell me every penny you spent of your $1,000.
In December.
Mm-hmm. Don't be late on that.
That's
one.
what I've been doing in the past.
There you go, that'll work. Mm-hmm.
That's
But
the
you have
one
to
I'm
close your
looking
bank
for.
account.
You gotta,
That's why it confused me on the 8th, because I knew I had till that 8th.
we gotta get that bank account closed though.
Yeah, you gotta close. Yeah, if you have a bank account open, you should have. Yeah, you gotta
Open
file
an account,
in January. So
put in $1,000.
Closed it.
you should have closed it. Yeah. So
You gotta switch it over to common now.
yeah, everything's.
So I have to file
$1,000.
You're gonna
File
file.
one report at the end.
You should be filing January, and then April 15th is your next. It's April 17th next year.
Do I have to file all 8?
Yep. Well,
Even if it's my money?
That's where you
Yeah.
get confused. Look,
yeah.
He wants to be exempt.
Yeah, because you still have money from your old SOO. An
What was my
exemption
money?
only goes for one election.
I've never taken any money.
All right, but, so you don't have a bank account for the campaign right now?
You know, I wanna say I get a statement, but I don't know if it's any money in it.
Okay, whatever it is, close that one out. Make it go, make it stop, make it go away.
Just close it out,
Close it. Start off fresh this year.
and then I won't have to do it in one
There
time.
you go, there you go.
Okay.
Yep, start off nice and
Makes
fresh.
it easy for them.
Yeah,
would you go through again what you have to do if you're gonna be exempt?
all right, so if you wanna be exempt, you're gonna go back to our
Look,
website,
I appreciate you showing all the health stuff, but I'm not gonna do
but you
it.
don't wanna do that. Well, you will at the end when it's all over. You'll have to, you still have to file that one report in time.
Open account.
But if you wanna file it, you're gonna get this report here, and I'm sure Jason will be kind enough to print it for you.
And what's left?
Let's see.
But this is after you already, you still have to go and comment.
You still have to go to Congress, you're still required to have a statement of organization, because you're gonna fill out a statement of organization, then you're gonna fill out this exempt form. So you've got your independent expenditure report.
You're elected, you can
Oh, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
it definitely ain't worth it.
Do anything, Mo, just like the same as
Request
your-
exemption.
For maybe 2 weeks.
Make sure it's the same thing.
That's where I'm going. If Jenny can't get it, right on. So what goes in there?
Yeah.
All right, this tells you, it's gonna tell, what your rest of the service, 2024.
Yeah, do that first. Yeah, do
You're
that
not
first.
gonna accept any money, you're not gonna spend more than
Everything first. Okay,
$1,000.
then we do this.
This is where you say that if I am gonna spend more
Closing
than
the bank account
$1,000,
now,
you'll tell
and then you
Jason
go open
before
one
you
right
do
back.
that. You're gonna fill out all
I know,
this.
but
And then
it's like,
Jason's gonna send it to me, and I'm
to
gonna go
avoid all that
into my
paperwork, I'll do it all day long.
So I don't have to fill it but one time then?
Right, my understanding, you'll have to fill out a course initially,
Yeah.
We're
Then
gonna
you,
file for canvassing
file.
first.
File.
you do spend,
but
then you have
after that,
to
you do not,
rescind.
as long as you exempt, don't
This
take
is
any
where
other
you
money.
rescind your
You're
exemption.
not due another report
I
to her
declare,
until the
despite
end.
my previous intentions, I love how
As
it
long as
says
you don't
that,
go over
that you have
$1,000,
spent more
don't
than
take
that.
anything from anybody else.
And somebody else comes out and then you do need to spend.
And that's pretty much it.
Tell them, take it.
So I want you all to, I know this is not gonna be exciting for you, but
Now, for them, it would be a little bit more different.
I want you to go to
Countywide
campaign
race,
finance
then
laws
they
and
have to
policies
expend more.
and read.
They better hire them an accountant, they can fill out all
Summary
this
of
stuff.
laws and
How
policies.
soon can you file the canvassing?
How soon
This tells you everything you have to do about it.
January 18th or
Just what I
something.
just
Yeah,
told you.
something like
Tell me the money you got, tell me the money you spent. Simple as that. And that's it. Charles, you look like you
And
don't
how
know.
many
Yeah,
signatures they
countywide
need
races,
this time?
you know, if they're running contested,
I
it'd be
do
a
too,
little
I mean,
more
pole
expensive.
dancing, how long did you do that?
How many signatures this time?
Same
Someone told me 250.
250, 200, I think it's 200.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right, say you go home and you
Signatures,
sign up at
yeah,
200
like
tonight,
200.
you can play and goof
Either
around
200 or
on it all day
251.
long, just don't file a report.
No, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can
it's
just poke around
125.
all-
That's what it used to be, but.
It's 125.
Because again, if you make a mistake,